I'm at the Pilot in Lebanon Junction. I stopped in here for a 34-hour break. They're replacing this sign. That's pretty cool. But the reason they're replacing this sign is because the other one must have caught on fire, eh? That is pretty wild. That's quite a deal. What a bummer, man. Pretty cool stuff. While I got you here, I'll tell you another story. I had an interesting thing. Now let's get real quick here. Get a shot of the truck stop. Like I said, Lebanon Junction, Kentucky. A little bit south of Louisville. Yeah, Friday I was up in Michigan, and I don't remember the name of this town, the exact name. It was in near Grand Rapids. It was an Amazon facility that I was picking up in to bring a load down. I went and dropped my trailer at Amazon in the morning, and then I did a personal conveyance to a truck stop over on 76th Street, I guess, anyway, 131 and 76th Street. And so I took an 8-hour break, almost 8. And when I got back to Amazon, I would have been able to drive for quite a while. I had all weekend to get the load down to Louisville. After my break, I drove back to Amazon, and I had to shut the truck off at the gate. And when I started the truck back off, I looked over at the people net and made sure that it still said personal conveyance. But as soon as I hit 5 miles an hour, it switched over to driving and canceled my time that I had taken off. And so after I had been at the truck stop all day, resting and sleeping, the computer negated that, and I was forced to take a 10-hour break. You know, electronic logs and all of their greatness, and our government and all of its greatness, but lack of common sense. You know, probably laws made by people that have nothing to do with trucking, don't know anything about trucking, probably have never been within 5 or 10 feet of a truck except passing one on the expressway or being stuck at a light next to one, making rules about things they don't know about. I know that they work with like OIDA and trucking companies, but I took an 8-hour break, almost 8. I was not a joke. I was less than 5 minutes from being done with an full 8, and I could have done a split sleeper, got down the road, took a 2-hour break, and I would have been able to then go on with a full, you know, a full day schedule. But because I touched 5 miles an hour after I shut the truck off, and I didn't take the time to block up Amazon's gate with the trucks behind me to stop and type in a new command saying personal conveyance, move to parking at customer. I had to take another 10-hour break. Total waste of my life, and just a waste of time. At this point, it doesn't matter. I was gonna make a video on it Friday after it happened, and I figured I better just shut my mouth and wait a little bit. Check this bad boy out. It's a Sea Ray. It says what it is on the side. Sundancer. I don't know how long it is. It's a fixer-upper, but man, what a beautiful boat. But anyway, I called the girl in the log department, and I know that she felt terrible because there was nothing she could do, because I don't know if it's a people net thing or if it's a thing that is a rule at AD Transport, but I got a feeling AD Transport wouldn't want to be stuck with something like that any worse than I would. But also they have to cover their butt because of all the lawyers in this country, and so I have a tendency to believe it was more on the side of the people net won't let you change something on the drive line. If it would have been, you know, maybe something in a off-duty type of a situation, they could have made a change to that. But anyway, that's a reality in trucking if you're thinking about being a truck driver. Things like that do happen, can happen. Logging it's a two-edged sword, a double-edged sword. When you got a computer deciding when you're tired, when you need to take a break, it really doesn't make sense, you know. And it's a wonderful thing. I'll say this, the electronic logs, I like them. All right. Matter of fact, I really like them, because when I push the button in the morning, I know that I'm going to get a break. I know when I'm going to get a break because I have to take a break. But sometimes in taking my break, you know, I slipped up, I guess, and I didn't plug up their gate while I waited 5 seconds for everything to, you know, the next screen to open up so I could type in that I was moving 150 feet and parking. But instead it switched over to put me on duty driving. You know, it's just annoying, absolutely annoying. I wanted to do some stuff this weekend. I needed to get in to see a doctor, and all of that went on the back burner, you know, because I have to go lay in a truck stop for the weekend after I take 18 hours break before I can drive 6 hours, you know. Trucking is a waste of time. It's a waste of your life if you're not in a position that you want to be in. And I love my job, but my kids I'm in a situation where I can spend more time with my kids now. I'm divorced. That's been a struggle. But I'm in a position where I can spend more time with my kids now, and I don't want to be gone all the time. I don't want to, you know, be gone for 5 weeks, 6 weeks at a time. And let me tell you, I did some time at JB Hunt, and I will make a video about that just as an owner-operator. And boy, what a huge mistake that was. JB Hunt is actually not a bad company to work at, but they're a bad company to work for. So as far as I'm concerned, they take advantage of your willingness to endure to pad their accounts. But anyway, they sent me out for my longest stint with them was 5 weeks straight. It was, you know, not the main cause of my marriage falling apart, but it certainly didn't help. And I'll talk about that when I got all my books out in front of me, and I can show you exactly where I was hauling beer loads out of New York, Baldwinsville, and netting 11 cents a mile. I got another one where I netted, and I'll break it down, I'll show it to you. I netted 20 cents a mile coming out of New York with a beer load, 44,000, beating the crap out of my truck. And I don't know, but trucking can be a waste of time. If you're young and you want to get into trucking, I highly recommend go out and run the road. But if you're married, get a local job, find a way to at least get dedicated runs where you're home a couple of times a week, so that you're not throwing your life away. Because I'm not kidding you, at this point in my life, to take an 8-hour break, a 7-hour and 55-minute break, and then touch the drive line and have to take another 10-hour break after I have to find a, go back to the truck stop and hope I can get a parking spot at 9 o'clock at night, which sometimes that just doesn't happen. What a waste. What an absolute waste of time. And fortunately I make these videos and it gives me something to do while I'm sitting around. But if you don't have something to do while you're sitting around, and it's not like the old days. In the old days you had the paper logs, and you could go on break and you could go see a museum, or you could go grocery shopping or whatever. I mean, you can do that now with Personal Conveyance, but with these e-logs, I mean, you gotta creep around, you got guys ready to kill each other in the truck stops because one guy can't go over 5 miles an hour or he'll trip his logs over and mess his brake up, and another guy's trying to get the heck out of there because he doesn't have enough time to get somewhere. You got people taking unnecessary chances, risking their lives, speeding, passing in the third lane, and it's all because our government's trying to save us with these frickin' e-logs. And I'll tell you what, they're like I said, it's a double-edged sword. In some ways it's a really good thing to know that at a certain time you get to shut down and you get to go to bed and you get a 10-hour break. But then there's other times when you can't find a place to park, you can't get somewhere before you run out of time. You got people taking unnecessary chances. They'll be tailgating people, tailgating cars. You see all kinds of wrecks, and it's because a computer is telling them when they're tired. It's telling them when they need to take a break, and it's telling them when it's okay to do something. I'm not a computer. Anyway, if you can't handle your life being wasted and thrown away, don't get into trucking. Okay? That's the truth. That's the reality of it. It's a waste of your life. It is also, though, really cool and really rewarding, and it's really fun. But it used to be a lot more fun. And so I don't know. Just think long and hard, especially if you're married and you got kids. Do you want to be gone for weeks at a time? I had to take an 18-hour break on Friday. 18 hours. Friday and Saturday until Saturday morning. And you know what? I had all weekend to get down here, and I was still able to squeeze in a 34-hour break. But you know what? At that point, I wasn't in no big hurry, and I didn't care whether I got down here by a appointment time, a window. I just didn't care. And some days you feel like that. Some days you're so frustrated you wonder why you bother, and then other days you think, oh my God, I get paid to do this. It's I don't know, it's a fascinating life. It's a subculture, to say the least, and it's interesting if you're young, if you're not married, or if you've got a wife that's going with you. I'd highly recommend it. But if you're married, you got kids, man, anything else is better. Anything. just so you don't waste your life too. But even at that, I don't feel like I'm wasting my life this morning. That's why I didn't make this video on Friday or Saturday morning, because I was so in the moment that I was just gonna bleep out a bunch of stuff here, because I was gonna, I was just gonna let it fly. And thankfully I waited, I think. Trucking is cool at times. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Expediter. Panther. I don't know if there's any other cool trucks out here, but anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to cut this off. I got to go get my load and head up to somewhere in Michigan, and then I'm going out to Philadelphia. So you guys have a great day, whatever day it is. I'm going to talk to this Monday here.